Hey, welcome back to the Board Game Closet. My name is Jimmy.
I'm Tim.
I'm Rod.
And today we're going to take a look at Betrayal at House on the Hill. This is a strategy game by Bruce Glasgow. Plays 3 to 6 people in about an hour. So let's take a look and see what you get in the box.
Let's do it.
All right. Woo! It could be scary.
So this is what you get in Betrayal at House on the Hill. Rod, do you want to talk about the components?
Okay, so Avalon Hill game. So we've had the other Avalon Hill game that we've done lately was the robot one.
Robot Rally?
Yeah, Robot Rally. Which this suffers from the same problem in some ways. Was that the components were thin, not thick enough, that type of thing. With this one in particular, it comes down to things like. We'll start off with this piece being this is little Peter, this is your character, and he's got, you have these little slide mechanisms for sanity and for speed and so on that go up and down as you're playing the game. The problem is sometimes that the marker itself will move by itself and come off, so you lose track very easily. With something like this, they couldn't make it stay on. They probably should have just gone with the pegs that you used to use in Battleship or something.
Pegs would have been a good one.
What's that?
Pegs would have been really good.
Yeah.
They would have shown exactly where it was.
So that part's a little disappointing.
Yeah.
The other thing is that these tokens here represent the monsters, which is they got some cool concepts because here's your characters and they're painted and stuff, but then they meet up with a dragon. That's the dragon. It just kind of I don't know. The tokens don't work good with the miniatures, I guess, is a problem that I have with it. But anyway, when it comes to the pieces and stuff, I'm kind of disappointed in what you're getting.
So, Tim, do you want to talk about the instructions to Betrayal at House on the Hill and tell us how hard or easy it is to learn the game?
Okay, so this is the instruction booklet. You get 3 books, but the other 2 are story books. So one's for the survivors and one's for the trader. The instruction booklet is actually pretty short as far as the rules for the game go, because it's pretty simple. You just move, explore, fight, that kind of thing. It's basically a reference sheet to all the special rules that go on in the game, because the events, the items, the omens, they all have special rules and stuff. But luckily, each one of them kind of explains everything on the card or on the tile when you pull the tile. So it does do that. This is just the nitpicky stuff, the how stuff interacts kind of stuff, so that you can figure out the rules on that. Because you will be referencing this book several times during the game, because you're like, well, what about if this happens right here that just happened? And you'll have to look that up in the book. So that's what this is for. Otherwise, it's really simple. It goes through the whole first setup for the game, so you can get going right away. And the first phase of the game before the trader comes out is actually a very simple, you just move, you explore, and you deal with what just happened when you explored. It's not until the trader comes out that these books right here, these story books, then explain the new gameplay that's going to happen. So overall, it's fairly easy once you get going.
Okay, so let's give you kind of an overview on how to play Betrayal at House on the Hill, so you can kind of figure out if this is going to work for you and your gaming group. So, as always, we're not going to hit all the rules, but just kind of give you an overview. So, at the beginning of the game, each person is going to start at the entrance to the house. So, the basic premise of the game is that you're going to be exploring this house, and you get to see what happens or unfolds as you explore through the house. So, each person gets a character, and on that card, it's going to give you starting stats for that person. Everybody gets their miniature. You start at the beginning of the house, and now you're going to explore the house. So you're going to be taking turns going through the house and then revealing new rooms. And so let's just say that I was in this bloody room right here, and I wanted to explore out. I'm just going to go through my deck here looking for a ground floor tile, and then I'm going to reveal that tile and place it out. And so then there might be an icon wording on the tile itself, or there might even be what's called an omen. And so if you get this little crow icon on the bottom of that, then you'll reveal an omen card. And so basically you're going to read the omen, reveal what happened on that turn, and then at the bottom of it, it always reminds you to make a haunt roll, because this game is going to play, you're going to continue exploring until the haunt happens. And so the way that you roll for that haunt hunt is depending on the number of omens that are out, you're trying to match or be lower than that, right? In order
Should
for
be
the higher than
So
that.
if there's one omen, you're trying to roll, 2 or higher, or 1 or higher, or something like that. So,
Right, so you all, unless you want the hunt to happen, I guess you're always trying to roll for a higher number. But if you want the hunt to happen, you would roll the dice, and we only have one omen here, and we rolled tons of points here, so the hunt's not going to happen. But if for some reason we had 3 or 4 omens out and we didn't roll enough, less than that, then the hunt would happen. And so at that point, you're going to, based off of the room that you're in, based off of who rolled it, symbols that are on the card, then you're going to go through this trader booklet here, and it actually has a chart on the front. So you're going to say, well, what room did it happen in, and what was in the room? Maybe there was a ring in the room, a skull, the dog was in the room, the girl was in the room, whatever. And they have all these scenarios that are based out in there. And so then you'll go down and you'd find the number that it says. And so then you read through here and it tells you, well, who is the traitor? And so like right here, it says the haunt revealer. So whoever caused the haunt to happen, that would be it. Or 145 over here says the highest knowledge, except for the haunt revealer. So you go around and say, who's got the highest knowledge right now? Okay, that means that you're the traitor. Whatever it tells you, whoever it says is the traitor, that person is going to take this book, turn to that number. So let's say it was 45. They turn to 45, and then they would read whatever this says in here. Nobody else reads it. Everybody else is going to read the survival guide, the secrets of survival. And so what this does is it now has 2 different people that have 2 different sets of goals to win the game. And so the betrayer is going to have a goal, and the survivors are going to have a goal. And so you know what you're supposed to do, but you don't know what they're supposed to do. And it becomes pretty obvious as you start playing what the goals are, but then you're fighting to the end of the game. So the bread and butter on this game is that right there. It's when it flips. And so you can have somebody that the whole time you're all working together, and then instantly they're the betrayer and everything changes, and then it's a race to finish the game to see who's going to win. And so you team up as you go along, and things like that, and then you play it out to the end of the game. So so the neat aspects of the game are the tiles that reveal themselves. So this shuffles, and this is always unique every single time that you play. The scenarios on who the traitor is, how that is revealed, all of that is unique. So it adds to a ton of replayability. And there's I don't know how many different scenarios, 50 different scenarios, I think. Yeah. 50 different scenarios that you could play. So the chances, you could hit the same one a couple times, but if you're playing this game multiple times, 50 different scenarios in multiple ways for them to be revealed would be pretty hard to hit a bunch.
I don't think I've ever run into the same scenario. And then it tells you in the book that you can change it. If you hit the same scenario more than once, you can actually pick a different scenario.
Right, and just play it out differently.
Yeah, there's a special way of doing that, of picking a different scenario. So
that's a really neat aspect of the game, is that right there. It's kind of it's part that I like and don't like when this part right here, because it slows the game down, right? And anytime we're playing a game like this, sometimes you're wanting to move kind of fast, but it gives it such a different storyline, different things, all these different possibilities, which is fantastic.
Because like you said, it plays to what happened in the room,
right?
The dog in the abandoned room,
right?
This is what happened.
Exactly.
Yeah, so it's not one of those, it's another zombie game, or it's another ghost game, or it's another wolf game. It's like all those games put together. It's all the scary movies and stuff that you ever find in a mansion.
And of course, the events and all those stuff, the same thing, really does give it some flavor.
Yeah, and the fact that you can beef your character up kind of feels kind of RPG-ish.
Right.
And the fact that you're picking up items and stuff to help your character
And it does
out.
have such a wide variety. You have like a Crimson Jack who looks to be some type of psychotic killer, right? And then you have like some demon lord, and you have a mummy, and you have giant spiders. You've got so many different monsters and different things.
And usually the monsters are helping out whoever the traitor is. There are scenarios where it's everybody versus the monster. So.
You've got Dracula, Frankenstein's monster. You've got a little bit of everything in there. So that is pretty cool. That's pretty neat aspect of the game.
So at the end of our review, we like to do a simple 1-die rating. Should you buy it, play it, or hate it? Green means go buy this game and add it to your collection. White means maybe you wouldn't buy this game, but you definitely play it. And then red means you wouldn't buy it and you wouldn't play it because you hate it. So let's, is that an omen? So we give our die rating and reveal. Oh, wow. One of each.
All
one
three.
of each. Okay,
The
so
flag.
This is amazing. So this ought to be good, banter here. So tell us why you gave it a green.
I mean, I can understand why it's not for everybody, because this is very story based, and this is about events happening to you. So a lot of times they're bad.
Bad stuff.
So
yeah.
bad stuff is constantly happening. So if you're not already in that mindset that your character, in all likelihood, is probably going to die in some way, then you're not going to like this game.
Mm-hmm.
All right, but for everybody else who's just playing it to have fun and not care if your character gets beat up and tore down and you lose because of that. But I mean, your guys could die, and then someone from your team still wins. So to me, that's what it's all about. It's all about the story playing out, and how even if you play the same scenario twice, it could play out completely different. So, and I like that aspect.
For me, it's not my favorite game in the world, but it wasn't so bad that I would necessarily give it red, and we'll find out. But like for me, it was just the replayability, that it's always random. I love tile laying games where you never know what's going to come out.
Yeah.
And then the playing it out, and then how it flips, which is the best idea ever, and then you find out what happens, and now all of a sudden I loved you, and now I hate you. So I'm taking you out, that kind of thing. I don't know. For me, it's definitely one that if you wanted to play, I'd play with you.
So the red. Okay, so this game right here, I've been looking at for about the last year and a half. It just hasn't gotten far enough in the list to buy, and then Tim ended up buying it first out of the group, and I was getting real close to buying it and stuff. It just looked like, yeah, this is gonna be a great game. And this game has the possibility of probably being the best game out there. But there's aspects of it that just take it down. So, for instance, and this is petty of me, but when it comes to these pieces, this is one of the most important things that you can have to keep track of things, and it's falling apart on you as you go. And the way they designed it, being this, being the way it is, the hex and everything, you can't control it in any way. It's not like I can just keep it at the top and keep it, up at the top, which this one's gonna be sliding, and that one's anyway. Frustrating. Then the only part of the gameplay that I have a problem with is it's overpowered to the bad guys. It is overpowered. I mean, it's not balanced in any way.
Well, technically, that's how it's supposed to be.
But it has to be.
It's a monster movie.
It has. I understand that, but it has to be winnable. And I don't think it's winnable. It's almost on the same problem that
he's lost every time.
It's almost it's almost like we had the problems with Mansions of Madness. It's like that's possibly another game that could be the greatest game in the world, but I'm not sure it's winnable. And if I can't win, nobody can.
I assure you, people, this is very winnable for both sides. I've won on both sides of the game board.
I soda.
Mop. Give me a mop.
Holy. Okay. Anyways. Anyway. I said it.
Holy what?
Yeah.
Holy Capoli or something.
He's old. He's got those
So
1930s.
Yeah, that's the reason I give it a red. It's overpowered towards the bad side, and it's just not, with these pieces and stuff, it's just not playable.
Just not playable. There you go. I love it. I'm just amazed because this is Mr. Green, So here we go.
I'm Mr. Green.
So we got a red out of him. So that's awesome. So anyway, thanks for watching our review of Betrayal at House on the Hill. We got a lot more reviews on our website, boardgamecloset.com. We're on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, all of those. And as always,
Support your local hobby shop.
boom.